Hey, everybody. Glad to see you out there. We've been off for about 3 weeks. We had a family crisis. My dad got real sick and he passed away, and we had to deal with all that. But my name's Dean Renfro. Glad you're with us today on our Lunch and Learn. We're going to be doing these every day at some time here around the lunch hour. But we're glad you're here with us today and appreciate you being a part of today's broadcast. We're going to be talking about how to make good decisions, how to make good decisions as a leader. So we're glad you're here with us. And again, if you haven't followed along with me, just click up there on notifications here on the Facebook Live, and you can find me every time I come on. And you can always type in a comment at the bottom so I can see that you're here and introduce yourself and that kind of thing so we can see who you are. And let me turn myself off here so I can kind of watch that with you. But hey, we're glad you're with us today. Appreciate you being a part. We're excited to be back in the groove of doing our lunch and learns and sharing some great things that we've been talking about. One of the things I'm going to be talking about today at the end of today's show, at the end of today's lunch and learn, is I'm going to be talking to you about an opportunity to join with me in a mastermind that I'll be doing right here live on Facebook with the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. And it's a text by John Maxwell. I'm a part of the John Maxwell team, and we're going to be offering that mastermind here on Facebook, giving you an opportunity to grow as a leader and learn as a leader. So thank you for being with us here today, and I encourage you to join in. You can always give us a thumbs up as well. If you have a question or comment about leadership as we're going through this today about making decisions, we encourage you to just kick those in. Sorry about the headphone set. Went to launch the broadcast and the battery was dead in my other microphone, so had to improvise. And that's basically what you always want to be doing is be ready to improvise, right? Be ready to improvise. So hey, let's get started with the 6 keys to making good decisions. Okay, the 6 keys to making good decisions. Making decisions is kind of one of those things that you kind of find up with that you face all the time, and you don't always realize what kind of decision you're making and everything like that. Hey Al, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Appreciate you joining here with the show. And Pauline, appreciate you being here with us today, and everybody else that's joining. Be sure to type in, let me know you're here, so I can, and one, call your name out, make you famous here on Facebook, and number two, so I just know you're here and that you're following along. Again, you can always type in the comment box underneath. If you're catching me on the replay, you can do that as well, and I'll respond back to you with any comments or answers that I can help you with. But today we're talking about, the 6 keys of making a good decision. In our lunch and learn, we're always having to make decisions. I mean, they come on us all the time. You made a decision to join this Facebook Live or not. I don't know what you're doing right now. You may be an hour ahead, an hour behind, 2 hours behind, 2 hours ahead. I don't know. You may be here in the States, or you may be across the world. But you made a decision to join the Lunch and Learn. And so hopefully what you find from today's Lunch and Learn is that we are able to deliver on the 6 keys to making a good decision. Everybody needs to know how to make them. So let's start with the first one. The first one is you want to get as much info. You want to get as much info as you can in proportion to the weight of the decision. You want to get as much info as you can in proportion to the weight of the decision. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, first thing I mean by that is that oftentimes when you have to make a decision, you need information. And based on your personality type, like myself, I'm an intense action D. If you're familiar with the DISC profile, I am way up at the chart on a D. I don't necessarily think that I have to have a lot of information to make a decision, because I can make a decision oftentimes before people have even got to finish the words coming out of their mouth. I already know whether I'm going to participate in that or not. But I don't always voice it. I don't always make it clear with people, because I'm making the decision and then I'm weighing the values of that. Other people, on the other hand, they take forever and ever and ever on the information, because they're in their mind, if they're an intense action C person, on the disc profile. In their mind, if we had just one more piece of information, we could make the right decision. The right decision in their mind. And then there's the other people on the disc profile and leadership profiles that you find is well, they're thinking, well, what does everybody else think? What does this person think? What does that person think? What are they going to think about me if I make this decision and it doesn't work out the way I want it to? And how's it going to affect me? And then there's the intense action S people who they're thinking about, well, how does everybody else feel about this? Is everybody going to be okay? Is everybody going to feel good? Is everybody going to like it? Is this really, do we really have to make this decision right now? Can we wait? I don't like the change this decision is going to make, so I'm not going to make it. So you have people who make decisions that way. So you have to get as much information as you can in proportion to the weight of the decision. So it's a real serious decision. If it's a life-changing decision, if it's a prolonged decision that's going to affect a lot of people or a lot of things or a lot of money or a lot of lives or a long-time decision, you probably ought to weigh that out over a period of time here and get as much information as you can, right? As much information as you can. We just went through that in the passing of my dad. Had we not already had all the information that he needed, it would have been a very difficult situation. But because Dad had shared his information and because we all knew his information, the decision for us, though it was cumbersome and difficult, we knew the decision that needed to be made. That's how that works. Had we not had that, as I've seen other people in ministry and being involved with people at the moments of death, they couldn't make the decision because they just didn't feel like they had enough information. They didn't have enough communication ahead of time. That's what I'm talking about. To make a good decision, you need to get as much information as possible on according to the weight of the decision. Okay, so if it's a light decision, you don't have to have a whole lot of information. You know, if it's a decision that demands immediate action, you may not have the time to wait, so you have to weigh the importance of the decision. All right, so if you're just joining me here on the Lunch and Learn today, my name's Dean Renfro. I do Lunch and Learns. I'll be doing these Lunch and Learns every day, and appreciate you being here with us on the show. Another thing we encourage you to do, if what we're sharing with you is beneficial, share it with your friends there on Facebook. Just click the share button right below the Facebook profile here, and or the Facebook live stream, and then you can share it with other people around you. I would appreciate that because that's how, one thing, that's how we all learn, and number two, that's how we all make new friends here on Facebook, and number three, it gives everybody a part to be a part of something like we're talking about today. So appreciate you being here with us in that today. Sorry about the headset. I don't normally have one. I normally use a lapel mic, but the battery was dead in it, and I found out at the last minute because I kind of been out of the loop here with what's been going on in our own personal lives. So key number two is weigh the time, energy, and resources. TER stands for time, energy, and resources. Weigh that. In other words, look at it and say, okay, is this going to take a lot of time? Do I have a lot of time? It's going to take a lot of energy. Do I have a lot of energy? This is going to take a lot of resources. Do I have the resources? So you have to weigh that against the payoff. Is it going to make life easier? Is it going to make life simpler? Is it going to make life freer? Is it going to take care of a weight that's on your life? What is the decision going to do for you in comparison to the time, energy, and resources that you're going to have to put into this decision? Okay, so you have to weigh that. You have to weigh that out and see, is it going to bring about results? Because oftentimes we might have to spend money, or we might have to spend energy, or we might have to spend time doing something, and we get no payoff. We don't get anything out of it in the end. And so to make a good decision, you have to weigh that kind of thing out, right? You have to weigh that kind of thing out. So what's number three? Get feedback from key people. Okay, that have the information that you need. In other words, bounce it off somebody. Get feedback from key people, those you trust, those who have expertise in the area of that decision. You just need to find those things out. So when we talk about key people, sometimes the key people are people who will give you honest feedback. That's a key, what I call a key person. You know, some of us have people in life, in our lives, that are just yes people. They'd agree to everything. They're like, well, whatever you think. Well, that doesn't help you. That doesn't help you. You already know what you think. You're not asking for what do I think. I'm asking for your feedback on this. Okay, so oftentimes that has to be somebody, what I often call, because oftentimes when you're talking about a decision, you got this going on, right? You got this going on. You got the hand in the face happening to you. So if you put your hand in front of your face, you can't see the answer to your decision because it's right here on the other side of your hand, right? So you need to get key feedback from somebody on the outside, somebody that's over here. See, somebody that's out here that can see the answer. That's what you're looking for. Get feedback from them. How do you see it? How does it weigh out? Hey, Bobby Angel, glad to have you with us on the show today. Hey, hadn't seen you in a while. And so you get key feedback. You get feedback from key people. You get feedback from people you trust. See, not everybody that gives you feedback has your best interest at heart. Okay, we live in a pretty competitive world. You know, you may go ask the best blank person, you know, about something in your life, and if they're your competition, they may not give you the best advice because they're thinking, I don't want that person in my space. Okay, I don't want that person in my space because not everybody has your best interest at heart. So somebody you trust is important to get this feedback from. People that you know that will be honest with you, open with you, that will give you what you need, not what necessarily you want. That's a person you can trust. Now, trust comes, of course, from over a period of time of people giving us good insight, good feedback, honest opinions. They know us. They know our life. They know what we're looking at. So get feedback from key people, those you trust, and people that have expertise. See, sometimes you don't know anybody in an area that you're trying to make a decision, okay, that you know really well. In other words, a key person. You may not trust them because you don't know them well enough, but you can look at their expertise. You can look at their expertise and go, okay, this person is an expert about this. How do you know they're an expert? Well, you can, Google them. The good way to get started here online is Google them, see who they are, see what they've done, see what other people say about them. We call those, reviews. When people have reviews, then you go, okay, other people have trusted them. I can trust them, okay? Or, oh, look at this review. This is not so good. This person, they didn't provide the service. They didn't provide the information. They didn't service their product, or they gave information that was maybe not so good for this person, and they're writing a review, or they gave service that was not so good. Okay, that becomes important when you talk about making a good decision. People have expertise in an area of decision, so that becomes important for you as well. So all right, let's look at the next one. Sleep on it, right? Sleep on it. You'd be amazed how important sleep is in decision making. Here's why I tell you to sleep on it. Okay, here's why I tell you to sleep on it. If it gets time for you to rest, to slow this body down, if you will create your decision in a question, and you tell your mind to solve this while you're sleeping, your mind will come up with some things when all the other things in life kind of get turned off. When all the voices in your head can get quiet, when all the noise, all the background noise of life can be shut off, okay, your brain will go to work and draw upon all the things that it has experienced your whole life to say, here's some things you need to think about. Now, what oftentimes is we never tell our brain that. We're too worried about the problem or the decision that we have to make. We don't tell our brain, I need to solve this. I need an answer to X. So you sleep on it if possible. Sometimes you can't, but if you can, sleep on it. Hey, Angela, how are you today? Appreciate you being here on our show today. And then give yourself room and time if you can. If you don't have to make the decision right this moment, don't make it. Don't be rash and just say, well, I need to make it and go ahead and do this, okay? All right, so you give yourself some room because other circumstances may come into play, okay? Other things may happen that help you with the decision. Other people may come along that can give you insight into your decision, right? Other facts may come to light that you didn't know about. Somebody may share a resource with you that you didn't have before. Remember, we talked about time, energy, and resources. Maybe you didn't have the resources yesterday, but because you waited till today, the resources were there. You waited till your mind came up with more concepts about this decision. And so now you have a different resource, maybe a resource you had forgotten about, maybe a person that you had kind of lost track of, and suddenly you remember, oh, they know about this. Okay, maybe in a conversation that you are having with a trusted friend or an advisor or an expert, they reveal something in the resource. Say, oh, I know somebody that can help you with that. Well, had you already made the decision, you might find yourself boxed in, and maybe you made the wrong decision or not the best decision in light of having this new resource. Okay, so give yourself room, give yourself time if you can. Again, sometimes some decisions you can't do that. You don't have the time. So sleep on it, okay? Sleep on it. All right? And then be willing to adapt. Okay, here's probably one that people struggle with oftentimes, kind of the sixth key here. Be willing to adapt. Okay, be willing to adapt. Change or negate your choice. You know, what I mean by that is oftentimes as you begin to make the decision and it begins to play out, you find out that there are other things that you didn't know that you didn't know, you know. And you go, oh, okay, now that I know this, I can make the decision like that. Now, for some people, that's difficult to adapt. It's kind of like, well, we made the decision. I'm going to stay with this. I'm going to stay with it. And maybe sometimes that is what you need to do, is stay with this. You know, but oftentimes you will learn that you have to kind of adapt it. You have to adapt it. And then you have to maybe sometimes change your decision. Or even say, you know what? Nope, I'm not doing that. Or no, that's not a good decision that I was about to make. And you just negate it. Especially if you see that it's not right for you. That it's going to be harmful to you or your family, or it's going to be harmful to your business, or it's going to break you in the sense of financially, you know, or it's going to cause irreparable harm to other people. You might go, you know what, I don't need to do this. This is not the right thing to do here, so I'm going to not do it. Sometimes people get upset with you doing that, but hey, in the end, everybody will be glad that you didn't do it. If you don't really need to make that decision, okay? Or that you adapted it, you know, because sometimes people are kind of watching and waiting on you to see when you make this decision, what's going to really happen. Hey, Donnie Parrish, glad to have you with us today on the show. Appreciate you being a part of it. So when you talk about these making good decisions, you have to sometimes be willing to adapt to the things that are going on, right? You have to be willing to adapt. Okay, so here's kind of the remedy here to all of this decision making. Once you do make the decision, once you put yourself in the decision mode, I have made this decision, commit to it with all the possible time, energy, and resources that you can put to it. Just do that. In other words, if you make the decision, then spend the time, spend the energy, spend the resources to carry the decision out to the end. See it through. Because oftentimes what happens with people is they make a decision, they get started, and they never finish their decision. And then they wonder, why am I having to come back through this again? Why am I having to face this again? Hey, Sally, Rob, glad to have you with us today on the show. Appreciate you being here. What do you do with all of that? Once you make it, commit to it with all your possible time, energy, and resources devoted to that. And then see it through, right? And then see it through. Because that's what you want to have happen in the process of good decision making. So we've talked about 6 keys and then 1 action point that you need to make about how to make good decisions. So if you're just now joining me and you've missed the show so far, go back and watch the replay. We'd love to have your comments. about what we've talked about, or maybe a suggestion that you might have, or maybe even an example of how you use one of these good keys to make, or these keys to make a good decision. You'd like to put that in there as well and say, hey, here's something I found that really worked in that situation. That because I did this, it really helped the situation turn out well. I'd love for you to do that. And of course, that gives everybody who's watching today an opportunity to see what you've experienced and how you may have used these keys. Or if you haven't been able to do these kinds of things yet and you've learned something today, and I would love for you to put that in there. Hey, I thought that was a really good eye-opening idea. Here's what I learned today from that. In other words, it was one of those aha moments. Or sometimes it might be a, oh me, I never thought about it that way moment. And you just type that in the chat box underneath the video. I would appreciate it. And then share this video with other people, right? Share this video with other people. All right, so kind of let you in on where this is going today. Where this is going today is I'm fixing to start a mastermind, a free mastermind on the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. The 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. I'm going to be starting a mastermind on here, right here on Facebook Live, and you can join in and you can comment. Okay, you can comment on what we're talking about. You can give your input. You can give your ideas. We're going to be talking about. We're going to do it in 7 sessions. Okay, so we're going to cover 3 laws at a time. You'll get notes from it if you have the book. You can follow along, of course, in the book. I won't be just reading the book to you, and I'll be giving you other ideas about these 21 irrefutable laws. I've been using these 21 irrefutable laws in my business, in my personal life, in my ministry for ever since John came out with it. I don't remember how long ago that was. I mean, it's been a long time that these have been out. But there are great laws to learn. There are great things you need to use in your life and to pass on to other people. I've kind of passed over one of those magic marks in life, and I've realized that what's most important now is to leave this behind for other people who are coming behind me, both in ministry and in my life and in my family and in my church and in my community and in my world, that I need to leave these things for people that are coming behind me and show them how it's worked or how it didn't work or how I didn't use it and I should have used it and those kinds of things. And I want to invite you to join me in these 21 laws in our mastermind, okay, in the mastermind. And you can see, I want to put this over here. You can see right here, you can go join this group. It's also in the link above this in the video description. You can go join this, request to join this group. Now, this group's going to fill up pretty fast, okay? It's going to fill up, and you're going to need to be a part of it. Now, when it fills up, I will start another one at some point in the future. I'll start another one of these mastermind, 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. You might be saying, well, what's a mastermind? How does it work? What's a mastermind? How does it work? Well, it works by the fact that we present some information and then people give input to it. They give their concepts, their ideas. Now, I know in the beginning that might be a little nervous, but hey, you're on Facebook. You can type it in. You don't have to worry about standing up and talking in front of anybody. You don't have to worry about anybody seeing you. Shoot, you can go to the thing in your pajamas. That's a great thing about Facebook Live. You can go to, you can just participate whenever there's time. If you can't make the mastermind, that's a great thing about Facebook Live, is that you can watch the replay and give your input then, and everybody in the group will see it. So I want to encourage you to go there right now and sign up, for the 21 Law Mastermind group, okay? You want to include that. If you have a friend, I would encourage you to go invite them to come join the group. It'll fill up, but I can do more than one. That's a great thing about Facebook Live. I can do it over and over and over again, and each group will vary because of the people like you in this group. Well, hey, my name's Dean Renfro again. I am so glad you are with us today. Appreciate you being a part of today's show. I love your input. I didn't see anybody got a question. I didn't see anybody got a comment you'd like to make. I'd like to hear what you've got to say about all that. You can, of course, give me a thumbs up. You can share it for sure. And you can, of course, give it a heart, that kind of thing. But I appreciate you being a part of today's show. I'm glad to be back doing this. Like I say, we've been out for a while because of death in our family, my dad's death in our family, and dealing with all that, his illness and then his death and then estate and all that kind of thing. it can be overwhelming. But I learned some things out of that I'm going to probably be doing a lunch and learn on that in the days to come. How you can prepare and help your family through difficult times like that, so that there's not so much struggle in the days of your life after you pass. Because I tell you what, it can be a nightmare for people when this happens. So hey, appreciate you being a part of today's show. Anybody got a comment or want to make input or have another key they would add to today's broadcast? So that's always cool. I'm not saying these are the only ways to make a good decision, but if you'd like to add your own to that, just post those right now in the underneath this Facebook broadcast. Anybody got one they would like to share? There's some great people on the show today that have a lot of input. You know, they got a lot of experience, both life experience, ministry experience, business experience, you know, family experience that they can share, because it helps everybody in the process. All right. Anybody want to make a comment? Anybody want to jump in and say anything? I can respond to that. Okay. We've got just a couple of minutes here before we wrap up the show today. Appreciate you being a part of the show. So again, if you're gonna join the group, just go right over there, join the group. Request to join the group. I'll let you in, and I'll post when we're going to get started, and you can be a part of this mastermind. Some great things you and we'll all learn together about how leadership works. All right, well, hey, if there's no more comments, nobody's got anything they're going to share with us today on the show, appreciate you being with us today. My name's Dean Renfro. If you hadn't followed along with me on Facebook Live, be sure to click on the notifications up there. You can get notified every time I'm on, which will be pretty much every day, sometimes several times every day, as we talk about this great opportunity in our life to live our life to its fullest. Hey, we'll talk to you later. Have a great rest of today. See ya.